Yo, 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 what's going on, guys? It's Tyler from the Keep Pounding podcast. All right, round one is over. I was able to wanted to make just a quick video talking about just how round one went, go over my opinions on it. So I was actually really surprised, one, how just the board fell. I really didn't expect the Jaguars to, let me pull up the list here real quick. I was really surprised to see. We all knew that Cam Ward was going to go to the Titans, but I was really surprised to see the Jacksonville Jaguars move up and trade with the Browns to get Travis Hunter. Um, I believe they gave. I can't remember exactly what they gave up, but they gave obviously a first round next year, a second, and I think they swapped threes, or they gave it three, but and then they so I was really surprised to see that. I'm sure Travis Hunter's excited because it's Florida, it's warmer, and less taxes. I don't know if they do state income tax in Florida or not. The Giants, I did expect them to take Abdul Carter, and then I also picked, which I picked last time. The board fell kind of how I thought at the beginning, until it got to the Raiders. So or to sorry, with the when the Browns went down. So I picked Cam Ward, Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter. So I knew those three were going to be there. Picked Will Campbell the other day. Didn't foresee the trade with the Browns and the Jaguars. But then the Browns surprised me and they picked Mason Graham. I was really hoping, I'm like, okay, if Mason Graham doesn't get picked here, I think we have a shot. But I'm interested to see, if Mason Graham was there at 8, do we pick him or not? That I'm not sure. But Ashton Genty, we thought he would go there. Armand Membu talked about him going there as well. So the board kind of fell how I thought, and I even thought the Saints would get Kelvin Banks. So from the top 10, for the most part, besides the Bears, I thought the Bears would get Tyler Warren. They got Colston Loveland, which was kind of shocking, but I did not expect us to get Ted, especially with Jalen Walker still there. So with Jalen Walker still there, I was really shocked to get Tet. And again, to me, Tet has the same skill set as XL and Jalen Coker. Like the XL is faster than Tet, or I think he likes being called T Mac or Nola, which is Nola is short for his hometown in Hawaii. But so his name will be Nola or T Mac. So T Mac has the same same skill set as XL and Jalen Coker, except XL is faster. Ted has better hands. I think XL has better route running. Um, so, and like I said mentioned before, I do think that Ted makes us obviously a better wide receiver room. You know, it's another weapon for Bryce. We're just missing speed because to me, if you're a defensive coordinator and you see that with who we have at receiver, there's no one that really scares you to beat you over the top. I'm not saying that we can't maybe find someone in the second or third round. I think the second round's unlikely. I think edge is going to be more likely. And there's quite a few names still available at edge. So you have Mike Green, Donovan Zekarahu. I'm actually shocked he didn't get picked in the first round. Jordan Birch from Oregon. You have Nick Scorton from Texas A&M. We have Princely, who we've been high on. So there's a good solid 10 edges so far that are still on the board that we could get, but there's a long way from pick 32 to 57. So I do anticipate us moving up. I do not think we wait, but we'll see. We'll see. So with Ted obviously being a Panther now, like I really am rooting for the guy. I'm interested to see how he fits into our scheme, into our system. Obviously, I didn't know this, but Bryce and Ted were throwing in the off season, just doing some workouts together, and that I didn't know about. And it's really interesting. The Panthers really rode this Jalen Walker ride, and I give credit to Dan Morgan about this. Dan Morgan I thought you could read this guy like a book. The guy can't tell any lies. I mean, no one really asked him about Tet, to be honest. It was a lot of it was about Jalen Walker, but they rode that. They allowed the media just to keep pushing that narrative for a long time, and Jalen Walker was there, and they obviously had Tet higher than Jalen Walker. Um, Now again, going back to Tet, I do think he obviously makes us better, but I look at the skill set. Not obviously he's going to be a good player, and I mentioned that in my previous video yesterday. I really thought there was no way that they picked Tet over Jalen Walker. I thought like we would get Tet if we traded back, and he was still there, and the value was there for them. However the board fell, I thought that was a possibility, but I really thought that there was no way that we're going to get Tet. I really thought it was going to be Jalen Walker. So that did shock me, but I'm excited. Like we got another weapon for Bryce. Every Panther fan knows that Bryce needs more weapons. I just thought it would be someone with speed. Now, doesn't I'm not just looking just for speed, but I compared Matthew Golden to Tet. I even offer. I also did Luther Burden. I looked at Emeka Emeka, and I thought Tet was like second or third, like second to best. I thought Matthew Golden, not only with the speed, but his route running, getting in and out of breaks, his crispier getting out, with a change of direction, and it added an element to that would add an element to our offense that we don't have. So I would, this does shock me. Was I kind of frustrated? Yes, but at the end of the day, like I said before, we're getting a good player. He's a good player. He's not a bum, right? He's a good player, and we need better players on offense. But I just felt the value at 8 didn't match his talent. I thought there was more talented players on the board there. Even Tyler Warren, I would have picked Tyler Warren over Tet. But again, I I know I've knocked Tet about his speed, but I mean the guy isn't slow. He has good game speed. Like he's not going to obviously outrun you, but he's not slow. It's just to me, defenses are going to press and box and stack a safety in the box because they're not afraid about getting beat. They're not afraid that XL or Tet are going to beat them deep. So I feel like unless like XL continues to develop, because XL ran like a 4.39, I think, which is fast, obviously. But I really thought that I really think that if we don't, if XL doesn't develop more, or you know, I feel like defenses can play a little bit tougher on us. They can play a little bit more press on us. So if we can kind of beat, early in the season, beat some DBs and show like we can get past you, like obviously maybe not so much speed, but more with like route running and finesse and nuance into your routes, which Tet has. He has good nuance. He's a sneaky athletic tall guy, right? I still disagree with the comparisons with Mike Evans. Maybe they run like I think Mike Evans runs a little faster, but Mike Evans' route running and separation is far superior to T Mac. But not saying that he can't get there. Like obviously, like he's not a finished product. For me, if I'm the GM, I wouldn't have made that pick. But I'm not the GM. I'm just a fan that loves the Panthers. So T Mac has my full support. I'm really excited that he's a Panther now. But it definitely caught me by surprise. And I think would have made me more mad, to be honest, if Mason Graham fell and we passed on Mason Graham and picked Tet. That would have infuriated me. But yeah. And then I find it interesting. So I liked obviously Jalen Walker, and to me, James Pierce Jr. was my second favorite pass rusher in this draft, and Falcons got both of them. So the Falcons' defensive line improved dramatically. So I mean, they gave up a first and they gave up a second round this year, and then a first next year. So they took away some pieces, which those guys better hit, which I think they will. But even if they do, like, dude, like I'm not sure what Atlanta was thinking. Bro, you need a lot more pieces than that. I mean, that kind of shocked me. But they must have had a really high grade on James Pierce Jr. for them to be like, yeah, we got to move up and get this guy. The value's too good. Excuse me. But there's still a lot of talent left besides the edge rushers. Obviously, we talked to about Mike Green. Will Johnson, I'm shocked that he didn't get picked in the first round. To me, he's a first round talent, no doubt. Donovan Ezaraka, that guy, I'm shocked he wasn't picked. Nick Emenwari, I'm shocked wasn't picked. Even Xavier Watts, I'm kind of shocked, but there's still a lot of talent out there. You have Kevin Winston Jr., Carson Schlesinger, you have TJ Saunders, Chevin Revel. You got a good amount of players that are still available. Like, this is a very deep draft. But let's see here. Sorry. But it's just it did catch me by surprise. So we'll see how. I mean, obviously having T Mac in there is going to make XL and Jalen Coker better, and obviously you have Adam Thielen. But I get after this coming season, after that, the wide receiver room won't seem as crowded because Adam Thielen, I think, this will be his last year. But again, I think with T Mac, with Bryce throwing to him, like, he's going to be more of a reliable catcher. And this is the one thing why I kind of agree with this pick. Like, I'm just kind of give you, like, I'm going to play devil's advocate here. T Mac, what we saw during the season or last season, that there was a lot of crucial dropped balls. You had XL dropping the ball with Philly. You had a couple of him like that were perfect right in the bucket. XL has a guy beat right in the bucket, drops it. There was at least 3 plays that I remember that were crucial drops that really helped the outcome of that game, but not for us. There were some crucial drops, and T Mac is a lot better at catching the ball than XL right now. Now, if XL can clean that up, if he's on, obviously he's gonna be on the jugs machine, but if he can clean that up, we have 2 really good receivers. We just need a deep threat, which I think you can get in the second or third round. But we need it. We need someone that is going to have some speed that the defense needs to take accountability, that needs to take account for, and we don't have that. And again, last year we didn't have that, and we still were a good football team. So now we had T Mac, we're even a better offensive team. I just I just see if we have a good speedy receiver that just opens the field more for the other receivers and tight ends and the running backs. It just opens it up more because the opposing defense has to take account for everybody, including that deep threat. It opens the field more. It opens the field for Bryce more. It won't feel so compacted. That's why I want someone. I hope they find someone with speed. But I am excited about this. I am excited to see how the connection with Bryce and T Mac. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. But it did surprise me. One thing that I did find kind of funny that I saw today was Steve Smith Sr.'s tweet about, "Do you like the pick, Smitty?" And it had a kid shoot himself in the penis and the nuts with a dart gun. And he like kind of dances like he hurt himself, right? And that was not really the best gift to send out. I mean, with everything going on with him, I don't know if that was the best thing to send out, but obviously, if you watch Steve Smith Sr.'s top 10 receiving grades, he had, I think, Matthew Golden first, Luther Burden second, and T Mac third. So he obviously didn't like the pick. He obviously didn't like it. Um, but I thought that was funny. I did find that a little bit funny. um, Something else I want to talk about here. Some things I did find on saw on Twitter were obviously, and I was in that boat. Like I wanted a defensive player, Jalen Walker, or another edge player. I wanted, um, but I understand the frustration that Panther fans have, and it's more so the part of the group that was not really wanting T Mac at 8, which was me. But there are some things I saw on there that was kind of like unfair a little bit. So I saw a lot of people talk about like we were the worst defense in NFL history and we drafted a receiver a year after taking a receiver in the first round. And I'm like, okay, I kind of understand what you're talking about, but did you not see us spend a lot of money on free agency with the defense? Again, I preach this. I've talked about this a lot. You have to, in free agency, that's where you go for need. For talent and building your team and having a good young core, you draft a best player available. And again, best player available is a player that's obviously really good, that has a lot of talent, that you feel like can develop and get better. And a part of it also is position. Certain positions are more impactful in football than others. So there's a lot of weight to. There's different types of variables to weighing best player available. But the draft isn't just for need. You cannot, as a fan, especially if your GM talks about, well, we're going to draft best player available. Well, guys, they're not going to draft edge just because we need an edge. That's not how you should run a football team and develop and grow a football team. You have to pick best player available. And they felt T Mac was the best player available. Dan Morgan has done a good job, not just in the first round, but later rounds, showing that he can evaluate talent. I'm not a scout, but I feel like I have a good eye test. I'm not always right, 100%. I'm not always right, but I just have my opinion on, just like everyone else has their opinion about what the Panthers should do. But we're not in that position. You know, if we were really really smart and good at that, we wouldn't be here, right? We would be somewhere else making these decisions. You know, I trust Dan Morgan. He's a good scout. And obviously, he played football at a high level. He knows more football than I do, so I'm going to trust him. Dave Canales knows more football than I do. I'm going to trust him. I just, I was just hoping that what I had in my head matched what they had in their head. That's it. But as far as second round goes, I would love for Nick Emenwari, Will Johnson, um, Donovan Ezekaraku, Princely, Mike Green. There's Mike Green, Donovan from Boston College, Will Johnson. Those are players that I feel like they have to trade up for if they fall a certain range. Because that's Mike Green, Donovan, and Will Johnson are like easily starting caliber, really good players. And I would be willing to give up a couple for us to move up earlier in the second round. But I would be shocked if we stay where we're at. I would be shocked. I would be shocked because pick 32 to pick 57, there's a bit drop off for sure from there. You'll still get some good players, but there's still a lot of good starters left on the board right now. This is a year where it would have been nice to have like 2 seconds, 2/3 easily. Oh, and then going back to the Smitty thing, this is what I wanted to talk about. So again, people giving Smitty a hard time. He's like, "Oh, you endorse Mingo." I'm like, first of all, let's talk about the context of that. He endorsed Mingo, but he also said that he will take 2 or 3 years of development. He wasn't developed because we kept switching offensive coordinators. I'm not saying Mingo's good. He's obviously not. But he also thought Jalen Coker was the best route runner and he should be picked, and he was undrafted. He had Jalen Coker, right? You guys, just because someone is wrong and you find out they're wrong in a certain situation doesn't mean that their opinion is invalid. Like, oh, he was wrong about Mingo, so let's not listen to him. Bro, the guy is an analyst. He played the game at a high level. He played receiver at a high level. He's going to be a pro. He was a Pro Bowler. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. I think he knows more football than you, especially about receiver. So I think it's funny people on Twitter just like try to roast this guy about his opinion. Everyone has an opinion. Even coaches and GMs that do this for a living get it wrong sometimes. But you can't be like, oh, we can't listen to him because he vouched for Mingo. Come on, that's that's stupid. So to the Panther fans that like wanted to just roasting him for because he didn't like T Mac, that doesn't make any sense. So that was another thing I wanted to talk about. Um, but I would say it was like 50-50 with the Panther fans that I mean, the Panther Nation was divided. You had 50% that loved T Mac and other ones that didn't want him, not at 8. I think any Panther fan would have said, oh, I love T Mac. I would love to, or I like T Mac. I want him, but maybe not at 8, maybe at 15 or whatever. So it's not like people, I don't think anyone's like, oh, T Mac is garbage. I don't think that's. And then I did say one tweet I put out, and again, like I was in the heat of the moment. I was kind of upset about this, but I put out there like I feel like this pick can get Dan fired eventually. Um, I mentioned he's slower than XL. Defense is just going to press on us, which I mentioned earlier. We don't have any speed or receiver. Horrible pick. So there's a little bit of emotion in that tweet, but I still stand by where can T Mac really get this offense over the top? I mean, I do think the offense is better with Rico Dowdle and T Mac there for sure. And you have the offensive line still set there. It's definitely better for sure. I just think not so much that the offense is going to be so bad, but I just felt like not only the obviously need was there, and it wasn't so much that, it's the value. Like I feel like we're going to see Jalen Walker twice a year for a while, and if he becomes a Frankie Louvu and T Mac is just like, eh, like he's going to remind us twice a year that we should have picked Jalen Walker. I'm obviously not rooting for that, but I just felt like again, it was more of an emotional tweet. I'm not going to take it down because that's how I felt at the time, but it, I still stand by that. I still think it could be a possible. This is my first. This did well, not my first. This is my second. What the fuck, Dan Morgan moment. It was this and then Brooks. Again, Brooks wasn't about the town. It was about uh, trading back up into the second round or drafting further up after you traded back in the second round. Then you traded back up to get Brooks. It did make sense to an injury prone running back. But I digress. But yeah, I just want to come in here and just kind of talk about my thoughts on the first round. What was it? A couple. We'll kind of go into the first round in general. Michael Williams at for to the 49ers, to me that was a really good pick for, and I like the fit there. Michael Williams, we talked about earlier the other day that he's prototypical like size for his position at edge. He needs to develop as a pass rusher, but he is an elite run stopper, and I think this fits 49ers perfectly here. Tyler Booker, I was surprised with Dallas. I really thought they were going to go um, receiver there. I think they could have would have went T Mac if we didn't select him, but I really thought that might have been a Matthew Golden pick. I really thought they were going to go after get another receiver to complement a CeeDee Lamb, which I did find interesting. I don't know if you guys saw on Twitter or not, but there was I guess the Rams were calling teams ahead of us, and they may have honestly called us too, but they're trying to move up in the first round. They end eventually moving out of the first round, and they traded with this Falcons. When the Falcons got James Pierce Jr., and they gave up. They ended up taking a first next year and a second this year. So, but I was just, where was I going with that? I kind of lost my train of thought there. um, but anyways, oh yeah, that's what I was going to talk about. The Rams were wanting to come up into the top 10 to get Tet. So, and the Rams know a thing or two about receivers. So, again, I admit that I'm not the smartest person in the world. I feel like I'm smart, but I'm not the smartest. So I did see that, but there was when I saw that though, I did see that um I did see that the Panthers were wanting to get a lot more than what the Rams were willing to get, because the Rams are picking 26, I think, and that's a huge jump back from 8 to 26. Like, you would have to give me, if I'm thinking about this right now, you need to give me a first, a second, a first and 2 seconds, and probably a third to go from that jump from 8 to 26. Pick swap first, give me a first for 2026, and give me a second or third this year. They're probably wanting to haul. They maybe even ask more than that because they like T-Mac so much. So, Tyler Warren, I kind of saw go to the Colts. I thought that was a possibility. That didn't surprise me. Jalen Walker with the Falcons, I thought that was great value. Walter Nolan, I thought was good value as well at 16. When people had us linked with him at 8, I thought that was a reach for 8 with his grade that I had on him. Didn't match, so I didn't like that. But I do think 16, like middle first round, suits him, and I think that's great for Arizona. Arizona needs a defensive lineman for sure. The Bengals definitely needed. They put that card in real fast. Well, I don't know if you guys saw that, but when Arizona after they selected Walter Nolan, the Bengals put that card in real fast for Shamar Stewart. So they need defense badly, and this whole draft should be defense selections. To be honest with you, I hated the pick. I hated. It's a smart pick, but I hated it. Was the Bucks with Emeka Egbuka. They got Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and this guy. Oh Lord, bro, we need a corner so bad. We need a corner and safety so bad. When is Mike Evans going to retire, dude? This is going to be a nightmare for defenses. This is such a good pick by Tampa Bay. This is such a good pick by Tampa Bay. I think Chris Godwin, I know he resigned this offseason, but I can't remember if it was a 2 or 3 year deal. I want to say it was a 3-year deal. So this will be the Chris Godwin replacement here. Emeka is so good. So as a Bucks fan, you got to be excited about that one. The corners, the cornerbacks did not go the way I thought it was going to go. And it usually happens in the draft. You had the Broncos that got Jahdae Barron from Texas. He's a good player. The Steelers got Derek Harmon, defensive lineman, which I thought was a good pick as well. I have a friend that's a Steelers fan, and he was sweating that. He was like, please don't let us pick Shador. He was so excited that it was someone else. The Chargers, I think this is a great pickup. I think this was good. This was such a good pickup by the Chargers, picking Amarian Hampton from North Carolina, the running back. Such a good player. The Packers got Matthew Golden. That's such good value at receiver there at 23. I do like that one. Donovan Jackson, the guard from Ohio State. Minnesota's got, they've already had a great offensive line. Now you add to that. The Giants traded back up and got Jackson Dart, which I, again, like him more than I like Shador. So the Giants got their pass rusher and their quarterback in the first round. With picking Abdul Carter, we'll see if the Giants end up re-signing Thibodeau. That's something I'm interested to see. Obviously, the next pick you have James Pierce Jr. that the Falcons traded with the Rams and got him. And to me, he was the second best edge in this group. And then the Ravens with Hampton and Starks now. Bro, the Ravens are so good picking late. Malachi Starks and oh my gosh, bro. The nose tackle that I liked out of this class the most, the Detroit Lions got Tyleik Williams. Oh my God, that guy's a beast. He's so quick and physical and fast. For his size, he's so fast, man. Another one I was kind of shocked about was Jihad Campbell. I thought he would get picked earlier. So with the Eagles already having an elite defense, and you add him to the mix, dude. This is definitely a draft for playoff teams getting great value at that position, like at their selection, tremendous value. So it was a very interesting draft, but I will say, like, obviously, no one really saw the the trade with the Browns and the Jaguars, but pretty much got the top three. I got the top four right. I thought if there wasn't a trade, obviously, I thought the Browns would have picked Hunter, and then with the Jaguars there, they would have picked, in my opinion, they would have picked Mimbu or Banks. Um, but they got Mason Graham, so I feel like he was probably their number 2 or number 3 player on their board. So um, it was an unpredictable draft, but I've really focused on the top 10, and so we got that one pretty close, right? But it was fun. It was a lot of fun to watch. See. But I will say, as a Panthers fan though, like even like obviously I was the one of the on the side of the coin that didn't want T Mac at 8, but the slander I'm seeing on him on Twitter, bro, is not cool. I'm like, let the guy give the guy a chance. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I hope T Mac ends up being Mike Evans. I really do. But the whole like Tet at wide receiver 2 at best narrative that some people are pushing out there is come on, bro. He's going to be probably wide receiver 2. We'll see what happens in camp. Who knows? Maybe he'll beat out XL. I hope they really push each other. I hope there is a really strong battle between them two. But I hope that he becomes our Mike Evans. I really do. If he does, I will gladly eat my words for sure. And I already ate some of my words. I said there's no way they picked Ted at 8. Don't worry. I was wrong. Clearly. But it'll be interesting if kind of going talking about, let me talk about a different team here with the Giants. The Giants, it's just interesting. Like they signed Jameis Winston and then they signed Russell Wilson after that. And now they're going to get Jackson Dart, they got Jackson Dart. Excuse me. And to me, they if they do this right, they need to let him sit and let Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston like battle for first. But to me, whoever wins out of that, so if Jameis Winston, I think it'll be Russell Wilson that beats out Jameis Winston, but you never know. But whoever wins, let's just say Jameis Winston wins the job. Russell Wilson should not be number 2 QB. He needs to be number 3. You need to give those reps to your rookie. You cannot take reps away from this rookie. He needs his reps. He's obviously not going to get first team reps, but he needs reps. So we'll see how the Giants handle this. Hopefully they don't handle it where, hey, let's start you, Jameis Winston, or whoever wins out between him and Russell Wilson. Oh, we suck. It's week 7. Okay, throw in Jackson Dart. Please don't do that. Bro, I saw earlier today. I don't know why. It was maybe this isn't what I thought the tweet was. I thought this tweet was making fun of T Mac about a character for Toy Story, but it's not. That's not what they're talking about. But I'm gonna get off for now, guys. Just want to give you my thoughts and my opinion on day one, what I think of the pick. I obviously was shocked, but hey, I'm supporting my guy, T Mac. Let's go, baby. Mike Evans 2.0. Let's do it. I'm on board. Let's do it. Prove me wrong, please. So, Hope you, Panther Nation, hope you have a good night. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. And look forward to tomorrow's day, second round and third round picks. And then hopefully be able to give you guys a video and talk about those guys as well. All right, guys. Hope you have a good one. Talk to you later. Peace.